fifth dimensional consciousness is here. Can you feel it? Today I'm going to talk about what has been the reward of all the shadow work that we've been doing. If you are somebody who identifies themselves as a light worker or an energy worker, or you are on the ascension path, or if you are a spiritual seeker seeking enlightenment, this is the moment that you have been doing all of this for. So let's understand and deep dive in this video what has happened. Why have you been going through such intense experiences of shedding the baggage, feeling and burning out your karma, and what is the reward of all of that? So what is fifth dimension? What has just happened? In my community, in my family, and in my team, all of us are experiencing this newness, which has happened in last week or 2 weeks. We have been working for it. Last few months, not even months, a few years have been intense. Intense, grueling shadow work, intense inner alignment work, and intense challenges and intense tests from the universe to shake you, to break you. What has this been for? Why have you been put through this? And what has been the good that has come out of this? Let us understand. See, fifth dimension is a place which means end of fear, end of suffering. So let's understand, why is there fear? Why do we suffer? See, if you are identified as this physical body, as in somebody who is made of flesh and blood, what all are the possibilities for the physical body? It gets tired, it can get sick, it can even break through accidents, and it can even die. That is the nature of physical body. So if you are identified as somebody who is this physical person made up of flesh and bones, then fear, worry, stress, and anxiety are bound to be your natural states of experience. If the weather is too hot, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. If the weather is too cold, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. If you have been doing a lot of work, for example, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. If there are big changes that are happening in the world around you, oh my God, I don't know, how will I cope with this? That is the natural state of being. So that is why, since ages, eons, beings who have broken out of this barrier of understanding themselves to be made of flesh and bones have been telling us, hey, this state of being is the cause of your suffering. Why? Because you are completely out of alignment with the nature of who you are. So then, who am I? What is my nature? Let us understand step by step. So the next step, when you move up in the ascension ladder, is where you start identifying yourself as an intellectual. I have studied this, I've got this master's, this bachelor's, this degree, this certificate, I've got this position at such and such company. All of this is mental construct, okay? Nothing wrong with having mental constructs, nothing wrong with using your mind. But when you're identified with this, when you're identified with your own thoughts, behavior, and energy patterns, what happens? Thoughts are volatile, right? All the time changing, especially changing based on the inputs that are coming to you from your environment. Maybe you watch something on the news, you watch something which is not pleasant. Now your experience of reality is, oh my God, I'm feeling so much of stress, I'm feeling so much of anxiety. Especially if you watch news these days, even prominent political figures are talking, hey, the world is moving towards World War III, we need to do something, trade wars are happening and businesses are getting disrupted, or technological disruption is happening, AI is coming for your job. All of these kind of information, as soon as you internalize it, it starts giving you anxiety, it starts giving you perturbation, you become restless. So again, being at this level where you are identified with your thoughts is also not the best place to be. Why? Because it is just this information, it is not necessarily the reality. This information and giving you a very perturbing and volatile experience of existence in that moment. Yes? So then what is the next level up? So being identified as a physical object is called as three-dimensional experience of reality. Being identified with the intellect, being an intellectual, is called as the fourth dimension experience of reality. Okay? If you have any more questions about dimensions, please feel free to ask in the comments below. But now where I want to emphasize now here is When you move out of this, when you break free from the prison of the mind, see, when you are experiencing the reality as an intellectual, you think your logic is telling you the perfect picture of reality. Your logic is capable of understanding the entire reality. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Your logic will tell you 1 plus 1 is always equal to 2. Can that always be true? In reality, no. So logic is presenting a prison which is believable, but that is not always entirely true. So when we work on the energy that we are, the life force energy, and when we intensify this, the ascension of energy, the amplification of this energy, life force energy that you are, when that amplifies beyond a certain point, it breaks free from the prison of the mind. What does this breaking free feels like? That is exactly what is called as shadow work. Okay? So when your established thinking patterns get challenged by your own expansion of energy within you. I used to believe certain thing 5 years ago. I believed this is the truth a few years ago. Now, my own consciousness, my own observation is telling me, no, there's no point believing this. This may or may not be true. That's how you are breaking free of established psychological, mental, and behavior structures within you that have been keeping you imprisoned in a prison made by your own mind. There's no other prison. Your mental prison, emotional prison, psychological prison. And this mind, through its fluctuations, someday it's creating pleasant thoughts. You come across certain news, you speak to somebody, and now it's creating very unpleasant thoughts, which is in turn creating unpleasant emotions and fluctuations within you. This is exactly what is keeping you on this hamster wheel of someday I'm feeling good, someday, I'm feeling really bad. And because I'm feeling bad, I may need alcohol, I may need some other drugs to make me feel better. When I come out of that cycle, again, I'm feeling bad. Again, I need something else. This is the prison. This is the samsara. This is the cycle of suffering that a human being is going through at all times. But when we ascend out of this, this is called as the fifth dimensional consciousness. So what does it feel like? What does it mean to be in fifth dimension? Are you traveling somewhere out of the earth to experience something weird? No. Fifth dimension is where you understand clearly, experientially, you realize, and it's a very realistic experience. It is not an image created by the mind. It is very, very real. What are you realizing? You're realizing experientially, I am not this body. I am not the thoughts. I'm not the personality that my mind is presenting me to be. Because everything that you know about yourself is just a persistent set of thoughts, persistent set of behavior, a persistent identity that you have been carrying for a very, very long time, since your birth, right? Everybody outside of you has been projecting on you, telling you who you are, who you can be, who you're allowed to be, who you're not allowed to be, and everything else. Now, when you sit within yourself, you realize that I have allowed myself to get imprisoned by all these projections, all these thoughts, all these behaviors, all these persistent patterns that I've just been experiencing because I believed in them. So you take back your power and you take back all that belief and center it within yourself. When you center this within yourself, you realize I'm not bound by these thoughts. I'm not bound by these beliefs. I simply, by my will, can transmute this thought, can transmute this feeling, alchemize it, change it to whatever I want it to be. This is where the alchemization happens. What is alchemization? Transformation. Transformation at its core. Alchemization from what to what? From living as a victim of reality, a victim of circumstances. Most people blame their circumstances. This happened with me, that's why my life sucks today. This is happening with me, that's why my life sucks today. This could be, I've got a nasty boss, that's why my life is a mess today. I went through this trauma in my past, that's why my life is a mess today. But when you pull yourself out of all these thoughts and sit within yourself, that's where you realize, I don't have to play the same scenarios over and over again. I can change. I can change the story, I can change the patterns of emotions that I'm experiencing, and hence I can change the actions that I'm taking in my day-to-day life, which will create a new set of circumstances. But that's another story. Let's come back to understanding fifth dimension. So fifth dimension is where you are fully, people would say, where you are fully present, where you are fully in the now. I will take it to one next level, where fifth dimension is you realize you are not in the now, you are the now, experiencing itself as one individual. You are not present, you are presence itself, experiencing and manifesting through this body that you have, through this personality that you have, through this individuality that you have. When this realization happens, it hits like magic. If I realize that I am the now, if I realize I am the presence, what is it in this world or from anywhere outside of the understood world that can come and destroy the now itself? Is it possible to destroy the now itself? Is it possible to destroy the presence itself? No. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna recites a very nice line which says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. What this means is that what you are, the eternal self, it cannot be destroyed by fire, by weapons, cannot be made wet with water, cannot be dried by the air. It is indestructible. When you realize this, I fundamentally am indestructible. When I say I'm fundamentally indestructible, does it mean my body is indestructible? Does it mean my mind, my emotions are indestructible? No. You, the essence, the eternal essence that is alive, the aliveness itself, is ever indestructible. That is your eternal nature. So eternal nature is what translates as Sanatan Dharma. Dharma does not mean religion. Dharma means nature. What is your eternal nature? That is pure consciousness. This is 5D. So when you sit in 5D, when you sit as presence itself, as the now itself, what does it look like? Nothing. Formless, shapeless, eternal, all-pervading. When you sit as that, now you are just able to observe your thoughts, observe your emotional patterns, observe the fluctuations within you without being identified with any of it. This is where you get to call the bluff of the mind and see through and break free from it. If you are on this planet right now, this is the biggest gift that our planet at this time has to offer you. Few decades ago, to ascend and come into this unity consciousness would have taken decades of intense spiritual practices, but not today. Today, in our community, people are saying, I don't do much practices, I don't do anything special, I'm just ascending. That's the beauty. Once you learn how to tap into this process, your entirety of existence will transform for the better. No more suffering, no more fear, no more pain. Life becomes a bliss. If you want to explore and understand how you can step up on this path of ascension, then there is a free resource, free community. We invite you, join us. It's a lot of fun. But today, this process is more important than ever. Why? I'm sure you are seeing in the world, there are wars happening, right? Between Russia, Ukraine, in the Middle East, in Pakistan, India. Why do wars happen? Wars happen when we operate out of separation consciousness, when we operate out of our animalistic consciousness. Humanity today is at a place where we have evolved so much that we can send rockets to the moon. We have the capability to destroy entire civilizations in less than an hour. But we have not yet learned to overcome that bestial nature, which is territorialism, right? Imagine Earth to be one family, okay? And each country is a family member. If family members start fighting with each other, wanting to destroy each other, how can there be progress, peace, harmony, beauty for the rest of the family? It's just not possible. Has this ever happened in your family? Two members are fighting and the entire house becomes very unpleasant to be there. That is exactly what we are doing today in the world, isn't it? Big players are fighting, threatening each other about nuclear wars and I'll destroy your economy, you'll destroy this. This is madness. So why unity consciousness is more important than ever is we need to understand, we need to counterbalance this hatred, this war, this fighting that's happening in the world. I've been hearing a lot of prophecies and predictions. World War III is coming or financial collapse is coming. My question is this: if you allow this to happen, obviously this is coming, right? Because if the steering wheel is in the hands of somebody who wants to drive us off the cliff and you don't do anything about it, well, that's your fate. But today, if we are seeing the early signs of it, we within ourselves, one, need to come and sit in the space of completion. Why is there a need for anybody to fight with anybody else? In whatever number of past few years we have been going through this, right, since Russia and Ukraine war began, look at all the countries that are participating in this. Look at the areas that are going through this. Has well-being come out as a consequence of any of these wars? No. Then why are we going down that path? That's where we come in unity consciousness and understand nobody's truly so different and separate from you. All of us are simply life, enjoying each other's experience, presence, and this world together. So when we sit in that peace and harmony, naturally we realize that, hey, fighting, agitation, aggression is not the way to bring harmony at all. It is not going to create well-being, neither for me nor for anybody else. Why can't we negotiate? Why can't we collaborate? Why can't we see how we work together? But unfortunately, that is not how the history of this planet has been. History of this planet so far has been just fighting and conquering and wars and looting, plundering, whatever. This is where, when more and more of us come to realize our true nature, which is blissful, eternal consciousness, then naturally this energy, this healing starts spreading through us. On one hand, there is this hatred, fear-mongering, war-mongering going on. Let us counterbalance that by understanding the deepest nature of ourselves. No big mission needs to be taken up, just understanding the deepest nature of ourselves. When you sit in this space, war, fighting, aggression will look like stupidity, absolute stupidity. So I invite you, if what I said resonates with you, if tapping into 5D, realizing your true eternal nature seems interesting, we are creating free resources and we are co-creating these resources. So you ask questions, hey, this is where I'm struggling. This is what I'm struggling to break through. And I'll come up with those videos. I'll come up with resources. I'll come up with methods and techniques to help you break free. It's absolutely free. The intention behind this is to help you realize your true eternal nature so that you go, why am I struggling? Why am I operating with a lot of fear, stress, anxiety? How can I embody that bliss, that eternal peace? And when I naturally operate from there, this healing, this peace propagates in the world. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being with me in this video. If this video gave you some new insights about yourself, about the understanding of life, about the understanding of ascension process, please let me know by clicking the like button. That tells me whatever I'm telling you, whatever I'm sharing with you, whatever I'm bringing to you makes some sense. It's meaningful. That's a feedback mechanism which will tell me I'm on the right track in terms of sharing my experience, my knowledge, and this ascension process and my new perspective with you. So thank you for being with me, and I'll look forward to speaking with you in the next video. Till then, take care.